What's up, guys? My name is Spencer Turley, and this is a track review of Motorsports Compound 2014. So this whole entire track layout is just so unique, so interesting. It's got like this, it's all in a really tight area, and it's just like there's no just open spaces like in the middle of the track. It seems like the track is all built right there in one tight area. And it's really cool because it still has like super long jumps and stuff on it at the same time. So really interesting how he did the whole layout. But if there's one thing about this track, this is a jump, whip it all the way backwards kind of track, definitely, for sure. This is definitely, if you're trying to learn how to do whips, this is the track for you right here, okay? These jumps are insane. They just have such a big like jump face on them, such a big lip on them that you can just whip it all the way back around. Like, you have to whip it on these jumps. You can't jump a jump just straight like that. Come on now. They're so freaking big. Like, I have to whip it. I literally cannot jump these jumps straight, or it makes me feel like I'm like floating in the air forever if I don't whip it on these jumps. So it actually helps me to whip it on jumps that big, because if you try to just hit them straight, you feel like, oh my gosh, because you're in the air for so long. So it definitely cool for sure. And then you come into this super deep sand filling section. It's like, I really like how he got the actual filling of that sand. It feels super deep, and it actually feels like sand too. So really cool. This whole entire track, though, it's just full of humongous jumps, and this is definitely a jump kind of track for sure. It kind of reminds me of like a Unleashed or Untamed track like that. It's got your just main two big kind of, not really ruts, but more like just big berms in the corners. And it's just got big jumps everywhere, and kind of smooth overall, you know. So it kind of reminds me of those Untamed, Unleashed kind of tracks for sure. So that's always cool. But right there, I actually didn't realize that was a big double. See, right here, I started thinking all these jumps were going to be really small, because I was like, okay, it's kind of like wrapping back around to the other side of the track. So I figured, oh, there must not be enough room to have these big jumps, but somehow he still managed to like put the big jumps in it. You know, like right here, you'd think, oh, this is a pretty mellow little tabletop. Nope. It's definitely still just as big as any of the other jumps. So he was real strategic as far as how he placed all the sections. Like, it just all works really good, and it makes a really tight-knit track. So just really cool for sure. But see, this was my first time actually riding on this part of the track, so that's why I'm like running off the track and whatnot, because I actually didn't know what to do here. But I'll get a second lap rolling here, so I'll hit some of these jumps a little better. This was another jump where I was like, okay, that's probably not a very big jump. Come to find out, it's just as big as all the other big ones. So just a really fun jump track. If you're wanting to hit some big jumps and try to practice your whips, definitely the track for you for sure. It's just perfect for that. Like MX Simulator, whenever you first start playing it, to do whips, you have to have big jumps when you first start learning how to whip anyways, for whatever reason, because if you try to do it on smaller jumps, you can't ever bring it back around in time. But once you get better at doing whips, you can do scrubs and little whips over smaller jumps, and you can bring it back around. But when you first start learning how to whip, you have to do it on these bigger jumps just to get the feel for it, and then you can start going to trying to whip on smaller jumps. I know that sounds completely backwards, but I promise you, if you practice it on the smaller or on the bigger jumps, first, then you can go back to the smaller jumps and stuff. So there's actually a full Supercross compound over there. I'm also going to do like a separate review on that. So but yeah, just a really fun track. Everything looks amazing. There's nothing on this track that just looks totally bare or anything like that. It all looks complete, and the skybox and the background, it just looks like a full completed track. Like, this looks really good. Like, this should come in a reflex game or something like that. Like, it really does look like a full completed track. So all the trees, all that's got the nice woodland vibe to it. So always good for sure. I always got to say vibe in my videos at least once. You know, I need to start putting up like a vibe counter or a bizarre counter up in the corner, so count how many times I say it. Some of you guys may know what I'm saying if you've watched some of my videos, because I'm like, bizarre, vibe, that's a cool vibe. What vibe is that? So it's just cool for sure. But you know, I start building these habits after I do these videos and stuff like this for a little while, so it's always cool for sure. But see how you hit this jump, like I hit it straight and I didn't whip on it, and it just felt like I was going to the moon. It felt like I was never going to land. So for me anyways, I like to throw it sideways on these jumps just because it makes me feel like I'm not it makes the jumps not feel as big. I know that's another thing that sounds just ridiculous, but I'm telling you, when you whip it, it's almost like you're more focused on the whip than you are how big the jump is, so then it doesn't feel quite as big. So but if you're hitting these jumps straight on, I'm telling you, it's gonna feel like you're flying to the freaking moon. Okay, it's gonna feel pretty crazy. But just a fun track overall. I think it's good for people obviously trying to whip, and then somewhere like intermediate type riders trying to learn more bigger jumps and stuff like that. So like I said, it's not really rough or anything like that, but just really fun. Feels like an Untamed or an Unleashed type track, so definitely cool for sure. Finally hitting some of these jumps a little bit better anyways. So just a really fun track overall. I just think every part of it is just amazing on it, just how everything came together on the whole entire track. So I'm gonna give it a 10 overall, and I'm gonna say the difficulty is hard. Actually, I might have to give it a pastrana difficulty, just simply because it's just crazy, man, these jumps. I'll play it back here in some third person just so you guys can see me throw some nasty whips over this. So but yeah, I would say I'm debating, like most time pastrana tracks, it's really hard to even get a lap on those, and I feel like I can still do laps on this track. So I guess I would still give it a pastrana rating, just because, or difficulty, just because of the sheer size of these jumps. I mean, they're just crazy. Like you just whip that bike ridiculous directions and whatnot on some of these jumps. It's just, like I'm saying, there's some tracks that are meant to jump and meant to whip on, and there's some tracks that aren't, but this track is definitely meant for it. That's a really fun triple right there, too. If you take the outside, you can hit it pretty good. So just a really, really fun track. You can see the SX track over there in the background, but just a fun track to throw whips. Like, that's really all this track I feel like is meant for, is just to throw whips on and have some fun on it, you know. But it's realistic at the same time, too, so that's really cool. But yeah, I just think it's just a fun track overall, and this sand right here is just perfect. It really is. Like, feels like super, super deep sand. There's me spinning out on it for sure and bouncing off some trees and whatnot. But it's just a fun track, man. And like I said, all the off-track stuff, like look at all this over here. It all looks really good, you know. And then the mountains there in the far background and stuff, everything looks great. So I'm a fan of this track, definitely. It's just really, really cool, and the fact that there's a supercross track on it too, and I didn't have like a crazy amount of lag or anything, so it's always cool when you can get like a big track and not have lag on it. So just fun overall. Oh my gosh, what is this over here? What? I didn't even see this. What the heck is this, man? This is like another supercross track. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. What is this over here? Hello? A freaking supermoto track? Definitely gonna be ripping that up on a different review. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do like 4 reviews on this track total. So, for both supercross tracks, and then the motocross track, and then you got that supermoto track. This is the compound. I'm telling you guys, if I was guessing, I would think this track would lag like a boss, but I'm telling you, it doesn't. It really doesn't lag. However he did everything, it doesn't lag. I'm telling you guys, it's good. So, wow, I did not realize all that other stuff on the track. But anyways, I'm just reviewing the motocross portion of it for this review anyways. So I'm going to give it like I said, the 10 overall, and I'm going to say the difficulty on the motocross track is pastrana, just because these jumps are crazy, but it's a really smooth track, so you really don't have to worry, you know, about roughness or anything like that. You can just hold the gas down pretty crazy. So just a really fun track. Wow, that's why I thought the background looked so good, because there's freaking tracks everywhere. But anyways, so that's it for this video, guys, and I appreciate all you guys watching. Thanks.